Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So the government might possibly be shutting down here very soon. What does that mean as far as October Social Security payments go, and will Social Security beneficiaries continue to have their normal services functioning? In today's video, we are going to be covering everything that you need to know. But before we go ahead and dive into for today, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into for today. So once again, very soon on October 1st at midnight, the government might very well just be shutting down if Democrats and Republicans aren't able to get on the same page and pass some sort of continuing resolution like a short-term funding bill to fund the government. This has not happened in a few years, and interestingly enough, the last time it did happen whenever Trump was president. During his first term. It happened from December 2018 through January 2019. This happened, I think it lasted right around 35 days in total. This was actually the longest government shutdown in history, according to records, and it might just happen again. If it does happen, what does that mean for Social Security payments in October? Will they be delayed? Will we see like a double payment in November? What exactly is going to happen with Social Security if the government does shut down? We're going to be covering everything that you need to know. But first off, according to the New York Times, President Trump will meet with the 4 top congressional leaders on Monday afternoon at the White House ahead of a 12:01 a.m. Wednesday deadline to avert a shutdown that would disrupt government operations. Democrats are demanding an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies and the reversals of cuts that Republicans made to Medicaid and other health programs as part of any temporary funding bill, with high stakes for leaders in both parties. So once again, we're having the 2 top leaders from both sides, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, and we're having the top 2 leaders in the House as well from both sides, Republicans and Democrats. They're going to try to work out a plan. Right now, they're sort of playing a game of chicken. Seems like this always ends up happening, where Republicans and Democrats play this game of chicken to possibly shut down the government, and then at the very last second, they end up coming together with some sort of miracle plan. So it wouldn't really surprise me if they do come together and work out some sort of short-term funding bill. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But again, how would a government shutdown affect Social Security recipients? We're going to be covering this article here by CBS News. Are October payments going to come out on time? Are you going to miss your payment in October if the government does indeed shut down for the entire month? Which, if it shuts down for another 35 days like it did during Trump's first term, that would be throughout the entire month of October. What exactly is going to happen as far as Social Security benefits go? Once again, according to CBS News, thankfully, even if a U.S. government shutdown begins on October 1st, these 74 million Americans who collect Social Security will continue receiving their monthly checks, although some services could be disrupted due to a potential halt in federal activities, according to experts. We are going to be covering what those things might be as far as Social Security goes, how it relates to Social Security, and what will be shut down if the government does indeed shut down come October 1st. Now they go on here to say that Social Security benefits are covered by mandatory spending, which means that the funding for the program has already been approved by Congress without an expiration date. As a result, Social Security recipients, including retirees, disabled Americans, and the dependents of deceased workers, would not see an interruption in their monthly payments if the government shuts down. That is extremely crucial. So whenever you expect to receive your payments in October, you should receive it on the exact same day. There is not going to be a delay in how you receive your payments. These are all automatic, thankfully. We don't have someone sitting in some government office, clicking a button to send out your check. All of this is automatic. So you should be receiving your check exactly on time as you normally would, even if the government does shut down. And they also mentioned here that, however, other Social Security services could be impacted by a shutdown. According to the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, the Social Security Administration's working budget requires approval from Congress, with lawmakers currently at loggerheads over funding the federal government past September 30th. If an agreement isn't reached before then, some Social Security services could be temporarily halted until the issue is resolved, according to both the Social Security Administration and experts on the retirement program. It said, quote, "The system hasn't missed a payment in its entire 90-year history, and it won't start now," according to Max Rittman, the CEO of the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. It's what he said in an email. But customer service at the Social Security Administration may be disrupted, including benefit verifications, earnings record corrections and updates, overpayments processing, and replacing Medicare cards. So obviously there are going to be some things that will be disrupted. We're going to be looking at a full list here in just a second. And they also say that in preparation for past shutdowns, each federal agency has created a contingency plan for their operations, with some employees expected to work without pay because they're considered to be providing essential services. And in an email to CBS News, the SSA said beneficiaries would continue to receive payments even if the government closes. Said, quote, "In the event of a lapse in appropriation, SSA will follow the contingency plan for continued activities, and Social Security beneficiaries would continue receiving their Social Security disability insurance, and SSI payments." Now, as far as which Social Security services could be impacted, they say that would depend on how many SSA employees are deemed to be essential, according to the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. So in a September 24th contingency plan published by the SSA, the agency said about 45,000 employees, almost 90% of its workforce, would stay on the job in case of a shutdown. Another roughly 6,200 workers would be furloughed, according to the planning document. So, obviously 90% of the workforce for Social Security staying on, being considered essential. That is obviously, very crucial for a lot of Social Security services to remain open and functioning properly. Now, as far as what services would be halted during a shutdown, first off, benefit verifications, also earnings record corrections and updates unrelated to the adjudication of benefits, also payee accountings, prisoner activities suspension, requests from third parties for queries, Freedom of Information Act requests, IT enhancement activities, public relations and training, replacement Medicare cards, and overpayments processing. So those are the things that would be shut down if the government does indeed shut down again on October 1st. Now, one other thing, one sort of interesting kink, it would be sort of bad news, especially with the upcoming increase announcement coming up on October 15th, is that unfortunately, if the government does shut down on October 15th, according to The Hill, the shutdown would halt jobs report, key economic data amid recession fears. So that would mean that the Bureau of Labor Statistics would not be releasing the inflation data come October 15th. So we would not have the full 3 third quarter months to be able to compare to last year's third quarter months to be able to tell what the upcoming cost of living adjustment is going to be. So until they come back and they're able to calculate what the September inflation metric was as far as the CPIW and everything like that goes, we won't know exactly what the cost of living adjustment is. Although right now we have a very good idea that it is looking like it's going to be anywhere between 2.7 to 2.8%. It just won't be official if the Bureau of Labor Statistics isn't in office there, releasing those official numbers. But good news, again, you should be receiving your payment on time. There's not going to be impacted. You're still going to receive your check as you normally would in your bank account, or a check that would arrive in the mail, even though the checks are supposed to cease to stop there. I guess there's not going to be going out past September 30th. We'll have to wait and see if they continue on with that plan. I think they probably will, but if you receive your check as usual in your bank account, you are going to be receiving your check on time in your bank account as you normally would. Those are not going to be halted. Those are not going to be delayed. That is the good news here. But with that said, that's all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and found value out of it, and I will see you in the next one.